Namaskar. Hello and welcome to PGurus channel. I'm your host Sree Iyer. Joining me as always is Srikumar Kannan as we take a look at BJP Manifesto for 2024 elections. Lots of promises, reality and this imaginary. What exactly does this mean to the exchequer? How does the sentiment of the voter feel? All this and more. So let's welcome Srikumar Kannan ji. Srikumar ji, Namaskar. Welcome to PGurus channel. Ram Ram, how are you?
Namaskar, sir. Ram Ram to you. How are you? I'm fine.
I'm doing well. Thank you so much, Srikumar. It's been a busy week. Has been lots of things happening. And, in fact, other parties were saying, when are you going to have your manifesto? Is it going to be too late? But it has come now. In fact, I know that Annamalai has his own Coimbatore manifesto where he has done 100 promises to be delivered in 500 days. Very impressive document, I must say. So we have a few manifestos floating around just for the BJP party. Let's first take a look at the national manifesto. Srikumar, go ahead and I give the floor to you. Talk to us. I've been reading it. Some fantastic ideas. Go ahead and tell me what you think.
Yeah, it was a very nice day, and they have chosen an auspicious day today because, as the Prime Minister mentioned, today is a New Year day for so many parts of the country, be it in Kerala, be it in Tamil Nadu, be it in Bengal, or those places where it is like the Vasanta Navaratri is also being celebrated. So an auspicious day is being selected for releasing of the manifesto for 2024. And there was a good committee headed by Mr. Rajnath Singh to draft the final the manifesto. And Ashwini Vaishnav, who is the railway minister, he has contributed much for this, I believe. And in that manifesto, they have brought in a variety of issues, including the ideological issues on one hand, welfare schemes on the other hand, future, we can say that vision document for the future infrastructure, as well as for some of the pending issues, and also a plan for an exchequer also. So unnecessary expenditures to be curtailed and a promise for a good governance. So everything has been packaged as a vision document, and with a proper budgetary support, I believe that the government has, the BJP government has focused that the freebies or anything should not be without any logic. So it should have a proper budgetary support, and they have brought it well. That's what I believe.
So the big one that I saw that caught my eye was that anyone above the age of 70 is automatically covered in a free healthcare. What kind of an impact does this have on the exchequer?
Yeah, if you see in the Indian population, we are now a young generation, and young population is more. And we have a large number of pensioners still living, and with so many issues, particularly the post-COVID. We should admit that the health issues are coming up. So, and we all know the health expenses is a pretty bit high, especially for middle class and lower middle class, for any related surgeries or any other big diseases. But for that purpose, the coverage of Ayushman Bharat. Now, earlier it was not having any specific coverage, like it was having only for a segment of the society, and the age was also a bar. Now that above 70 years for all people, including middle-aged class people, that will be a huge impact. Imagine in a 140 crore people, about more than 10 crore people will be about a 70 plus age in our population. And the responsibility for taking care of those 70 plus people lies in the shoulders of the middle class families. Now, the government shouldering the part of their financial responsibility is giving a huge relief, is going to give a huge relief for them. Because what I personally feel, Mr. Sree Iyer, is giving a scheme is different, but announcement of the scheme should have a budgetary support. Now, not only a scheme can be announced, but it should be on the basis of the scheme. The government cabinet should meet. They should bring out a draft. It should be brought out as a policy. and the policy should be notified, and a budgetary support should be announced, and later the scheme should be percolated to the down level, so that we should ensure that the scheme is properly implemented. So here the government has a proven track record, be it in Jal Jeevan, be it in Jan Dhan, be it in Ujjwala scheme, or be it in digital infrastructure. So comparing with everything, I also feel this Ayushman Bharat, as you rightly mentioned, giving financial insurance for 70+ age people, it will be a huge relief for the pensioners of our country.
Somebody is asking in the chat, does it cover private hospitals? To the best of my knowledge, some hospitals already are accepting Ayushman Bharat coverage. For example, I think Apollo Group, which is a fairly well-known brand, is accepting Ayushman. I mean, again, Apollo guys have to qualify if there is any qualifiers or some sort of riders. This is something that I read on social media, so I just want to make sure that there is instances that I have heard of where private hospitals also are accepting it. Is my information correct, Srikumar? Any idea?
I have to collect some ideas regarding that, but the government also will come out with a clarification in this regard. That's what I feel, that the list of the ailments and the list of the hospitals and who will admit this Ayushman. But as far as my knowledge is concerned, so many of my friends who are economically weaker, they have been benefited by this Ayushman Bharat. So I can collect the information and I can pass it on to you, so that for the benefit of all.
Yeah, we'll touch upon this, and we'll touch upon this later. Thank you.
Yeah.
The other additional interesting thing there is that the transgenders are also getting supported under Ayushman Bharat. Talk to us a little bit about the impact of this.
Yes, the transgenders, because I can see Mr. Modi, who is touching those places which are being ignored by the society. So he is being very vocal about that, and there was some Hindi word he has mentioned in his speech during that manifesto release. जिनको वो पूछता नहीं है, मोदी उनको पूजता है. Means those who are not being asked for, those who are ignored, Modi is worshipping them. That's what he meant. So I believe that he has meant this transgender community. So the liberals and the so-called people, champions of human rights, who are being spearheading the Congress and other left parties to be an alternative for Modi government, I feel they have also not come out with such an idea what Mr. Modi has brought it out. So not only these transgenders were covered by this Ayushman Bharat, earlier also he has come out with a scheme to get themselves employed in certain government schemes, so that they get properly represented. So I believe this is a much welcome step to help and to uplift the status of the transgenders of our country.
Thank you so much. And there are some other interesting plans that I noticed. That is, the Vande Bharat is going to be more like a Vande Express, if I remember correctly. What it is that the railways, the platforms, the trains, all of them are going to be brought to a much higher level of cleanliness. That's how I understand it. However, in a country like India, where dust collects in 5 minutes, 5 minutes, if something is static, one breeze blows through and there's a film of dust. I wonder how practical how easy it is to be able to implement it. I mean, you'll have to air condition it, then the air conditioner will be working at full speed to try and keep the dust out of the trains, isn't it? Your thoughts?
Yes, it's a challenging one as far as upgrading the system of railways, because railways is one sector in the country which is embedded with the lifestyle of our salary earners, or the tourists, or anything, because it's a huge country with a vast livelihood network being connected, and still a lot more to be done. We have also seen that there are parts of our country, including the valley, Jammu Kashmir, the northeastern areas, where some places the railways have just been introduced, especially in Nagaland areas. So what I personally feel is this government, Modi government, when it came in 2014, they have started giving some importance to the railway sectors. First one is they have done away with the railway budget, which was just a formalities. So far, the government used to, other governments used to just position themselves where they stand for, which state is giving what. So this mere formalities and lip service for the railways in the name of railway budget has been taken away with. Instead, there was a practical project analysis which was being done. And wherever there is the feasibility report was done, and wherever there is the project was not possible, that has been taken away with, and those pending projects have been taken with bar footing, and so many areas were being connected. And now, as you rightly mentioned, the Vande Bharat, which is a classy railway coach, where it is being provided in the three parts, like Vande Bharat chair car, Vande Bharat sleeper, and Vande Bharat metro. That's what the manifesto says. Now we are seeing the Vande Bharat chair car, which is being run between intercities across the country. And now the steps will be going to be taken for specifically on the Vande Bharat sleeper and Vande Bharat metro. These things will improve the urban infrastructure on one hand. Give the most important thing is the cleanliness, as you rightly mentioned, that the Swachh Bharat the scheme of the Swachh Bharat will be made as a part of this railway project, I believe. And along with that, the decentralization of the railway management. This was one of the biggest achievement of this government, what I believe, that the cleanliness, the safety, and the branding, the local branding products, the local brand products have been marketed in the railway platforms. These are some of the good measures taken by this government, and through the manifesto, I believe that they will be taken to the next level.
Now there is one caveat here on the Ayushman Bharat. They are going to have, I think, a cap of up to 5 lakhs per incidence, so it cannot exceed that. Beyond that, if the expenses overrun, then you have to pay for it. So that is one catch that I'm seeing. I'm going to Nari Shakti. They free gas, empowering Muslim women by protecting them from triple talaq. 11+ crore women are leading dignified lives using Swachh Bharat mission. 6+ crore mothers and children have been vaccinated under mission Indradhanush. Increased paid maternity leave from 12 to 26 weeks. Improved healthcare of women by making sanitary pads available for ₹1. 3+ crore. I think these are all things that are already being done, isn't it? I think.
Yes.
So now I need to go to the section.
Yeah. What through the manifesto, what I believe is there are two parts of the manifesto. One, he is trying to establish whatever he has done so far and what are his future plans. He wants to make a comparison and he wants to present it as a report card to the people. That's what I believe.
Wonderful. So this is a big document. I'm just going through it. Just give me 1 second here. Yeah, still I'm in guarantee Garib Parivar Jivan. Okay, so here they are saying free ration for the next 5 years. Wow. Yes. So that means 2029, up to 2029.
Yes.
Actually, and I think that's a fairly big hit. Go ahead.
Yeah, this started actually during the post-COVID scenario. When the COVID situation started, the government thought that the people of the country should not starve, especially the migrant laborers who are moving from one place to another, and those people who have lost their livelihood due to the COVID situation and the changed economic scenario and the job situation. So the people should be fed enough with enough grains. So what the government thought to give that free ration scheme. So every year they started extending that scheme. So in 2023, during the Chhattisgarh election, especially in the Durg, where the area Durg, the campaigning, Prime Minister announced that for the next 5 years, the free ration scheme will continue. So that is now what we are seeing in the manifesto is the assertion of that announcement. That's what I feel.
I'm not sure if I agree with this, because what happens is you already have Manrega, guaranteed income for a certain number of days in a year, and then you're also getting free groceries. What's the incentive for anyone to work, Srikumar?
The Manrega, what I believe, now they are slowly changing the work style. So the people who are involved in Manrega, now they are being put up in developing the capital infrastructure. That's what I believe. Especially developing the highways, railways, and other areas, and increased requirement of the rural infrastructure, including the creation of water bodies, plantation of trees, those places. So the utilization of Manrega will be made in a judicious way. That's what I feel. And now the Manrega working style has been made as a demand-based scenario. So wherever there is a demand for Manrega workers, based on which the government will release the funds. Now I can feel between the 2004 to 14, there was a left, right, center registration of Manrega, and the fund was flowing from the exchequer without any proper checks. But now after Modi government has come, there was a proper judicious utilization of that labor force, and due to the infrastructure developments, I feel that the workforce will be put on a proper way through e-Shram portal and other related registrations.
In other words, if I hear you correctly, you have to work before you get paid under Manrega.
Yes.
That makes it good, because then getting groceries, it can offset that to a certain extent. Let's take a quick look at the next one. The expanding our efforts to protect 𝗤𝗘𝗃 𝗖𝘀. We have worked on protecting 𝗤𝗃 𝗖𝘀 by establishing a price stabilization fund for vegetables and pulses. We'll expand our efforts to protect the 𝗤𝗃 𝗖𝘀 by becoming Atmanirbhar in the production of pulses, edible oils, and vegetables. So this essentially means that better farming methods, isn't it?
Yes, because earlier we used to see there were some grains which were being given more importance, like rice, wheat, and specific some number of about 20 crops, not more than that. Coffee, tea, sugarcane, and those type of crops were given more importance. And in some places, like in the eastern part of the country, jute, and western part will be cotton. So those places, the cash crops and the food crops. But specifically the pulse production that happened when 2014, I saw there was a huge scarcity of pulses, especially that urad dal, arhar dal. So many of these dals were of a great scarcity, and the government had to import the dal from outside. So what Modi government thought during 2014 was to give more stress for the pulse production. So from that place, we can see there was a continuous stress for the government, crop diversification, increased usage of pulses, and using these pulses as a part of the nutritious program of the government. Like along with the free food scheme, the pulses are also included as a part of the nutrition scheme. And also the use of small grams, like we can see the ragi and other small crops we used to say. So there they used to be also given importance. So this is much more needed for a country like India for a crop diversification and an improved importance in agriculture.
There are lots of things here, viewers. It's difficult to go through every one of them. I'm just trying to pick up the salient ones. There's also free electricity for some people who are really, really poor. How do you think that qualification is going to be made?
Country like India is morely very hot, and the using of the electricity using the solar energy. So that is going to be the next challenging one for the country like India, I believe. We all know that in before 2014, there are about more than 14,000 villages, 14,000 or 18,000, I believe, which were not having any electricity, and the Modi government identified those villages and they were provided with electricity. Now, the expansion of the program is not only the villages, now to get the households also into electricity, especially the solar power, and not only giving them electricity, but they make them as electricity generators. So through this scheme, what I believe, that Surya Shakti scheme,
right,
the rooftops of the villages will be covered with the solar panels, and through the electricity they get a free consumption of electricity, and the additional electricity what they generate, they can give it to the grid, and through that the circulation happens and they become wealth generators. So this is the most innovative scheme, and which also provide not only the infrastructure on one hand, but also uplift the rural economy.
A couple of things about solar energy that I want to make mention of here. When China used to make solar panels, in fact, they are planning on dumping it again on the world. That was one caution that Janet Yellen has made to China. What they would do is, see, the kind of light that hits the panel is different based on where you are located in the earth, geographical earth. For example, tropics, like India is mostly tropical, because we are cutting, Tropic of Cancer goes right across India in the middle approximately. So India is rich in infrared, whereas in the sunlight, and in US it is ultraviolet that is more prevalent. So when they sell in US, they sell UV filtered, and in India they should be selling IR filtered. I'm not so sure if people understand the difference, because if you don't do that, your 14% efficiency drops even more. 14% is what? If you get 100 watts of solar energy, you get 14 watts of electric energy today. Watt is actually on a timely basis, but joules is correct word to use. 100 joules in, 14 joules out. 14% is the efficiency. But if you don't code it right, then that's also a problem. I'm just telling some of the things that I've observed. Second thing is, in order to save costs, what India does is, there is something called as an inverter, micro inverters that you have to put, because the solar energy that is created is direct current. It is not alternating current. Whereas inside our house, everywhere, it's all alternating current. So you have a direct current, you have to convert it to alternating current. So these are called as micro inverters. What is a micro inverter? Let's say there's a panel of 250 watts. In a house, you will have 12 panels. 12 times 250 is 4 kilowatts. I'm making these numbers very fast, or maybe it is a little bit less than that. Doesn't matter. So 250 kilowatts is one. So what happens is, then if you have a micro inverter for each panel, then even if one panel goes bad, let's say you have 10 panels, even if one panel goes bad, the 9 remaining will still supply power. You have to go and replace the whatever is wrong with the 10th panel. India typically tends to save money by having only one micro inverter for the entire thing. This is called as single point of failure. If the micro inverter goes, the entire panel goes off. What you did was, you tried to reduce your upfront cost by buying fewer micro inverters, but then you will pay for it because you don't know which of these panels have gone bad. These are things that needs to be considered. Best way to do all these things is manufacture it in India, because then the price is in your control. A lot of things can be done right. Anyway, I'm rambling here. Let's go on to the next one. The RERA Act, they are going to be strengthening it. See, I have been given indications that India is going to put its entire geographical map on a blockchain. So the ownership cannot be ever in doubt. Has it gone that far, or is it just more like strengthening the RERA Act?
No, I believe that given situation, the government of India is monitoring the situation, and based on which the act has been amended, I believe, or there has to be something more to add to it, because whatever we are seeing it now regarding the RERA, it is not enough. That's what I believe, and we are living in an era with so much of lost opportunities. And to give more impetus to it, the revision and of the RERA is much more needed. That's what I believe.
Also, Srikumar, I think RERA comes into effect for newer constructions. On existing constructions, what happens?
I don't have any idea regarding the existing constructions, but whether this RERA will be now it will not be in a retrospective effect. That's what I believe. It will be only for prospective thing. And the retrospective thing, whether they have been regularized in any provisions of the RERA, that has to be seen. I have little knowledge on this, I have to admit.
India is going through a lot of changes, especially people are beginning to like living in flats more than living in single family homes, because if you have a flat, like part of 100 flats, your water can be managed better, other facilities can be managed better, because you have an ecosystem, and there is a certain amount of security, because you can have, you know, some sort of security like a fencing and all that stuff. These are all, by the way, viewers, these are all middle class shops that I'm going through. The RERA is strengthening. Then you have other things that it is. So to finish the thought, see, what it will also entail is, when you have a strong perimeter, then you don't need to make your houses super like 12-inch concrete brick walls. You just do the outer with wall, like the way they do it in US. In US, right, it's only 4 inches. The separation between rooms is only 4 inches. It's all wood. In fact, it's not even wood. It is 4-inch by 2-inch bars that become the frame on which you slap two, you know, packed wood kind of stuff. Very, I mean, you can't, but it's enough. If you have an outer perimeter, what it means is that cost of the houses will go down. I don't think I see any of that stuff. That's probably more in the implementation. The next thing they are saying is that it's going to create high value jobs. How do you think the Modi government is going to create high value jobs?
Specifically, they are more putting importance on the tourism sector. There are 2-3 places where what I believe is one is what, just a second. Sorry. So one sector, what I personally believe, there is one is the Mudra scheme, one is the tourism sector, and these are the 2 places where the government feels that they are going to have that wealth creation, especially for the job growth. In Mudra scheme, what I personally feel, they have increased the limits from 10 lakhs to 20 lakhs. That is number 1. Second, they have expanded the scope of the people who are eligible for the Mudra loan. That is number 2. Third, as you rightly mentioned, the making the homes of the people, especially in the tribal places, which is very much useful for the tourism sector. So these are the cases where they wanted to make the people to get more jobs, along with the new urban infrastructure, what they are going to feel.
The second bullet point is they're adding more IITs, IIMs, and so on and so forth that are already set up, and there are more coming along. Startup ecosystem, Srikumar, I think now India has, I think, 35,000 startups or something like that. The challenge has always been finding the capital for the startup. The ideas are always there. The thing about that is how to give capital. Once you give the capital, how to provide leadership. You have to find out if there's a leader built into the team, or do you have to bring in a leader from outside. That's what a venture capitalist does. This has been quite common in the United States. How well do you think India is managing its ecosystem? I've heard some good stories. I've heard some not so good stories. Over to you.
You are absolutely right, sir. Because what I personally feel is, whatever we say about startups, there are some good stories, as you rightly mentioned, that the startups have been a success stories. There are many stories where the startups have been a failure. The 2 or 3 things is the need for startups and the real thought process of the startups have not been properly observed by so many of us. That's what I personally feel. And those who have observed it in the right sense have become successful in this startups is concerned. 2 or 3 things which are the main challenges for the startups. Number 1 is the right human resources. That is number 1. Second is the proper choice of the product line. That is also there, because they come up with a fascinating idea, and once they get into it, they feel the product chain problems. And the third is the government's focus and in fact that education on these particular startups, because the startups has to be properly announced in a proper way, with the proper information has to be passed on to the business community. That's what I personally feel, because so many people who leave their job coming out with an idea of startups, after starting the startups they are feeling the pain. So starting from the not only the tax infrastructure, but also hand-holding them in the requirement of the business infrastructure, what they need, that has to be given more thrust. That's what I feel.
Let's take a quick look at young citizens. One first thing is very interesting one: transparent government recruitment, and in this implementing law to prevent paper leaks. Oh my God, this is something that's an endemic problem. We are getting the graphic up in just a moment, but this is a very important one, where you are trying to make sure that the Public Examinations Prevention of Unfair Means Act to prevent paper leaks. One way that in US they do it, Srikumar, this is a little radical, but it is doable. What they do is there will be 4 sets of question papers for the same exam. And think of it like, let's say there are 10 rows. The way the paper will be distributed: 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So the guy who's trying to copy from his neighbor may be answering the wrong question. I don't know whether that is something that India might consider doing. What GRE and other exams now, online exams, they do that now. Your thoughts?
Yes, this specifically, if you see the recent news in Uttar Pradesh, in Rajasthan, where you find the issues of paper leaks. So many people, youngsters who have prepared themselves for the public exams, and when they come to know about the paper leaks, specifically to a small set of people, and also the people who are involved, especially in the government sector itself, I believe there are some people who voluntarily leak it out. So this creates a lot of restlessness among the public and youngsters. And the government of India recently, about 6 months before, that's what I believe, has come out with the centralized law to punish against those people who are involved in the paper leak. And it has to be, as you rightly mentioned, come out with so many innovative ideas. As you rightly mentioned, the alternative choice of papers on one hand, and there could be other ideas also that could help this paper leak issue. Because what I personally feel, be it not in South India, I have not heard much, but especially in the places like Bihar, Uttar Pradesh, Rajasthan, Haryana, those places, these cases are very prevalent.
Srikumar, I hate to bust your bubble. When I was doing engineering, very serious. Everybody is very smart. But if a smart student who can get 95% gets the paper in advance, that 95 will convert into 100%. I have seen professors, in those days there was no Xerox machine. So what they would do is, there will be a staff room where they'll do the staff will take care of the needs of the professors. What they'll do is, they'll set the question paper, they'll give the original to the guy who does what's called as cyclo-styling machine. It makes a funny noise, and they will stand there. They will stand there and take the good ones, and sometimes the cyclo-style machine will get stuck, even the bad ones. Essentially, the professor ensures that there is nothing left behind on the cyclo-style room. You get my drift, right?
Yes.
Because I have had exams where, the ones who did not get the paper and ahead, they all got, failing grades. And those who got it, got 10%. And the question, the thing had to be, the exam had to be annulled. It was not easy. This is happening in the South, my friend. See, the point I think I'm trying to make is, give an opportunity, somebody is going to do it. You got to find a way to minimize that. Not every professor would stand by the cyclo-style machine to get all his question papers not everybody. They'll just give it and then go away, and then whatever happens. Okay, I know it's easy to find faults, but I just wanted to say that these are good in implementation is where things get messed up. Lots of other things. Amrit PD, involving the youth in nation building. 1 crore youth already entered in My Bharat. It will be enhanced to, what is My Bharat? Do you know?
No, I have to get to the details of it. There are some areas where I have little ideas, especially the recent slogans of the government and the schemes based on those slogans. That My Bharat, I have to get to know about it.
Viewers, there's a lot of stuff in this package. It's easy to kind of run through. There's a lot. You need to online youth leadership and social engagement platform. And I also know that if you properly follow the process, you are getting the benefit, the funds and everything. This is something that needs to percolate to everybody. The challenges happen to be like, what language you're applying in. Immediately somebody will say, oh, I want this particular form in this particular language. Even the IIM exams, not IIM, IAS exams, people are now insisting that they want to be able to take it in their own language and things like that. Little difficult when you think about how to make the administration, seamless. Anyway, that's my 2 cents. We have a lot to go through. Srikumar, I think maybe we should stop here and take a look at some of the questions. And then if they have more time, we can look at some more things.
Yes, please.
Clearly, we can't go through the entire thing. The takeaway is this government has put in a lot of effort identifying all the places where improvements can be made. And they have put in place a lot of things. In fact, this is a good report card plus, what we are going to do or what you are going to build on top of that. I encourage all of you to read this thing. We have a copy of that. We will post it on our website as a link so that you can go and click on that link. That link will be in the description section of this video. So you can go and read it and get the entire thing. Can we have some questions now, please?
Yes, sir, please.
Sarvani Tumuluri wants to know, why is there no mention of NRC in manifesto? Also, can we hope for the end of caste-based reservations?
The caste-based reservation is very difficult, I believe, because India is being having a huge calculus of castes. I don't think the government will open a hornet's nest. That's one thing. Second thing is regarding the NRC. Now the government is more focused on the implementation of CAA. That's what I believe. NRC will follow later. I believe it will be in the days to come. But specifically now the government is more important on the CAA. Specifically because of a simple reason that immediately it is being challenged in the court. So now we have to see how the court also get on with it. And NRC will follow based on the court judgment. That's what I feel.
Sarvani, there is already law in place that does the same job as an NRC, and that is to link your Aadhaar card with your voter card. Because Aadhaar, it is believed to have a perfect, or at least 99% of the Aadhaar cards should have one biometric or the other to identify the unique individual. And with the voter card tying to the Aadhaar card, then what happens is that even if it is a fake set of voter and Aadhaar card, you can only vote once. You have a bigger problem now because of staged elections. People vote multiple times. Next one. Mangat Ranga wants to know, Namaskara. Unlike other parties, BJP Manifesto seems about achievables only. But isn't it surprising that issues like temple control, Kashi, Mathura, etc. do not find mention?
There are something which we need to see, Magnet Ragaji, like what I already mentioned, that any scheme should be in an achievable way. That's what the government of the BJP government wanted to do this time. That's what I feel so. Unlike the earlier BJP manifesto, this BJP manifesto is different in such a way that they wanted to focus on those things which are achievable. As I mentioned earlier, an announcement will be made. That announcement will be based on that announcement. A scheme will be made through a cabinet meeting, and it will be notified, and there will be a budget announcement, and later that scheme will be given budgetary support, later it will be percolated to the implementation level. So till that position, it has to be required. And regarding some emotional issues like Mathura, Kashi, and other things, what I personally feel is the Ayodhya achievement that has given a big boost for the government, especially in its ideological position. Regarding Mathura, Kashi, and other places, what I personally feel is they are now on to the legal positioning, like they are documenting through ASI surveys and other things, that they are documenting the existence of the holy sites first, and then any such government action on that or anything will be following based on the negotiations. That's what I believe. Regarding the temple control, I believe that the next government will have some thought process on it. And earlier they bring out with such a law on it, it will be better for the society.
Rangaji, don't worry about it. All these things, Kashi, Mathura, temple control, all these things, there are people willing to donate their time and effort to get and make sure that these things are done right. You always have the 80-20 principle, meaning like 20% of the temples will give you 80% of the funding, which is where most of the pilferage happens. You take care of those, then the rest of the things start automatically happening. For example, the TTD itself takes care of a lot of other temples. The Brihadishwara temple revenues take care of 100 small temples in and around that area. These are all facts today. So this will happen. I think the bigger problem for BJP is to mention something like this in their manifesto. Then what happens is suddenly they'll say, "Aha, we told you this BJP is going to make a Hindu Rashtra." It is a Hindu Rashtra already. Why do you want to go and have somebody write it down saying Hindu Rashtra? We're all Hindus. We're all Sanatanis. We are a Hindu Rashtra. So what? Dharma is the same. It doesn't matter what religion you pursue. Next one. Anshuman Singh wants to know, waste management should get special impetus, not to be part of just another part of city project or infrastructure. This needs special emphasis. Your views, Srikumar.
Yes, I fully agree with you, because the waste management is one of the major focus that should be for the next infrastructure projects, because we rightly know the existing projects also lack the infrastructure, waste management infrastructure, and the forthcoming projects also generate a lot of waste. So the more focus should be given on such waste management, be it solid, liquid, or gas, as well as the e-waste. So it is there in some cities. The place where I am residing in Bengaluru, there is some mentioning of those waste management is there, but still it has to go a long way. I fully agree with you.
Srikumar, have you looked on your left going from the airport towards the city on that main big road? Yes. There's one 3,500-year-old Shiva temple. Have you seen that?
Yes.
Viewers, so many of us have so much money. Take a look at the temple. How poorly it's in bad shape. It should be repaired. And this is 3,500 years old. And if the driver hadn't pointed it out to me, I would have not known. I just happened to find a dharmic driver who was telling me, "Sir, nimge gotta." And I said, "Wow, I didn't know that." So there are so many things that can be done, but we as a people can help in all these things. Next one. Shankar VK wants to know, could you please speak about any packages for uplifting the government hospitals, since majority of Indians still rely on local government hospitals and public health care for delivery?
Shankarji, the main problem is there are some the health sector is also find part of the state governments also. Now the central government is coming out with some packages, like the ESI hospitals are being built, the AIIMS are being made. If you know, before I believe it was during 99 to 2004, that time, except during that time, earlier only AIIMS Delhi was there. Later it was Sushma Swaraj idea, who wanted to expand the AIIMS to tier 2, tier 3 cities. Now we are finding AIIMS in so many places. Now, what I personally feel, the AIIMS has to expand more, ESI hospital has to expand more, and railways hospital has to expand more as far as a part of the government of India. And the state governments also should consider, as you rightly mentioned, the health infrastructure with in a right sense, because whatever you are saying is absolutely right. We are seeing very poor health infrastructure which are governed by state governments with require for the public utilities. So it has to be given a big thrust. I believe the central government coordination with the state government will give the required impetus.
Thank you, 𝗤𝗚𝘅 𝗢𝘂𝘁, for your generous donation. Thank you, Shyam Tarun. Arun wants to know, what are the manifesto items that deal with internal security and judiciary?
Regarding the judiciary is concerned, they came out with last time that National Judiciary Accountability Bill. It was struck down by the Supreme Court of India. No, it is a very big issue, because regarding on one side you have a collegium system, on the other side you have a parliament which is having some issues relating to it. Regarding judiciary, what I can personally feel is that a 𝗎𝗍 Sanhita bill, which was that decodification of the earlier ones, which are the criminal, civil, and the laws which were related with the British system. They were being made localized. Regarding judicial system, what I can feel is the decrease the number of cases, and I also personally feel the courts should also be aware in entertaining the PILs. So the more they entertain the PILs for political causes, this will continue. Because on the face of it, the even common public can make it out the PILs were made for a political reason, or for a for advertisements, or their own reasons, ulterior motives. So, but still the court, they should identify those things, and regarding the PILs also, they have to filter them accordingly. So this will help a lot. Regarding internal security, we should all admit that present government, Modi government, has been very successful in safeguarding the internal security, because compare the same with the Manmohan Singh government, we could find the news of bomb blasts happening in every major cities, starting from Varanasi to Bangalore to Chennai to Hyderabad to Mumbai, so many cities, Ahmedabad, so many places where there was a free roam of the perpetrators, and they were making their missions very successful. This government was very successful in filtering those perpetrators, especially to the border areas. So now you can find the places like Kashmir is also becoming very safe now, and the tourists are also going to those places. So we should all appreciate this government for their internal security.
Next question, please. RGB 116 wants to know, do you think this manifesto covers the 1,000 years of reforms which Modiji promised?
Every reform needs baby steps, and now the only thing is what we can feel is a direction. What I personally feel is a direction is in the right way. So if you see, there are so many unattended issues which were attended during the Modi government. The 370 or the CAA, which are age-old things, and even the triple talaq. Now what the government is doing is having a synergy of all levels, like be it cultural issues like celebration of the tribal identity on one hand, touching the much required issues like UCC, Uniform Civil Code, on the other hand, and giving thrust to the Gen Next projects like the digital transactions and other infrastructure facilities, and also there's much more thrust for the social welfare schemes. So taking the country in a balanced way, along with all segments of society, it's a very big challenge. And in this challenge, I believe Modi is doing the right thing, moving in a right direction.
Next question, please. Magnet Ranga wants to know, Iyerji, please please share more info on the Shiva temple you just mentioned. One thing I noticed, Rangaji, the really, really old temples in India are all Shiva temples. I can't explain why. This temple is actually in pretty bad shape. It's in ruins. The sthambs are there. You can see big square parikrama, but lots of weeds growing. Doesn't look like puja is taking place there. I mean, if you think that this is bad, you know, till 2000, even 𝗣𝗚𝗪𝐻 temple did not have puja done. They didn't have money. Once they raised money, and only after that the 𝗣𝗚𝗪𝐻 temple started having regular puja. Not easy, my friend. And but do look up on Google. Just see temple near. It's very, very close to the 𝗣𝗚𝗪𝗻. I think it is just outside the 𝗣𝗚𝗪𝗻 village. My memory is a little weak here about exactly where it was, but it is somewhere in that area between 𝗣𝗚𝗪𝗻 and Hepal. Next question, please. Ustad Preetuddin Khan Chanchad wants to know, doesn't look like BJP manifesto promised any direct freebies. Is this going to sway the poor and rural voters away from BJP?
I don't think so, because whatever they are doing so far, it is being continued. They are not taking away any of the schemes so far, be it the gas cylinder subsidy, be it the Kisan Samman Nidhi of 2000 for so three times an year, be it the Ujjwala scheme, be it the LED schemes, be it the Sukanya Samriddhi Yojana, or whatever be even the Mudra loans. So nothing has been taken away with, but there is also the government is very clear in maintaining the fiscal discipline also. So giving unnecessary freebies and later, struggling to find out a solution for that is uncalled for. The good thing is the government has taken out time to give only those achievable targets and with the fiscal discipline.
Now, overall, what the BJP government has tried over the last 10 years to take the load off of some of the bursting cities. Take Mumbai, for example. Many of the industries are now moving, some of them to Gujarat and some of them back to the Uttar Pradesh. And I'm sure same thing will happen to Bihar also. But what happens then is the stress on these bigger cities starts going down. But I can feel it myself. Before, when I used to come to India, right, every time I come, it'll feel like more crowded, more. But overall, I think things have stabilized in the last 5-8 trips. I don't see that it's extra stress. If anything, things are becoming a little bit more predictable now. So this is a slow process, and it is happening. And things like the internet revolution, where you're getting broadband connectivity even in rural areas, those will go a long way. Because a programmer, doesn't have to work in a city. You can live in the suburbs. You can live even in villages. Look at Zoho. Zoho is mostly operating out of 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏. It is like deep south. And how are they able to manage it? It's a multi-billion-dollar company, from what I have heard. So this is happening. It will accelerate with time. Thank you so much, Srikumar. This was a wonderful session. And viewers, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to click on the bell button for notifications. And Srikumar will be back on Wednesdays in Tamil as well as in Hindi, 9:30 p.m. Hindi. Thanks once again, Srikumar. Namaskar.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for giving the opportunity. As far as some of the schemes which I have to get more information on that, so I have not provided enough information on that. So whatever, to the best of my knowledge, I have provided. Thank you, one and all. Namaskar.
Namaskar.